What's going on, guys? Building Chaos here with another Satisfactory video. Hooray! Claps all around. And in today's video, we're going to go over load balancing and all that good stuff that is entitled with it. So without any further ado, because we have a lot to get to, let's get started. Quick bit of info before we get started. Load balancing is used to make your machinery run smooth and efficient. Now, this is not always going to be the case on what you want to do, but this will definitely help you at least knowing about what this entails. Because let's face it, when you start to get to some of the power and stuff like that, you want to make sure the efficiency is 100%. Otherwise, your whole place could be dropping down, and that's not a good time. Alright, guys. Let us begin. First off is the, I want to say manifold system. Basically, it's the perfect split system. Whereas when it goes in, it basically gets split out and goes into each one evenly. This does take up a lot of space, but everything is efficient as possible. This does take a lot of room to do, but as you can see here, if we had one item going in here and then it splits over, and now you have two items of equal amounts, and then those split over, then you have two there and two there, basically making 4 items perfectly. So let's say we have 120, it's going to send 60 and 60, then it's going to send 30, 30, and 30, 30. Everything gets 30 evenly. Adversely, you can also do this with 3s, so you go over here and it goes 1, 2, 3. So if we had 120, you got 40, 40, and 40, and then you go over here and it's like 12.33 repeating on each and every one of them for all 9 that are there. So basically, if you have anything but a prime number, these are really handy to use because they're very good and very efficient, and it makes your base run so smoothly. Very good. Second up, we have the overflow method. This is used by a lot of people, especially in the early game, where basically everything is just hooked up in one solid line. You just make sure that the one that holds the belt that has the most items is the highest belt that you can get, and basically it just splits off away from there. Now, this is a really good system for if you want to make a nice compact base, but the cons for this system is once these start filling up, then they'll start going and being pushed over to the other ones. A lot of stuff will come in the beginning. So like, let's say we didn't have this whole entire side. It'll make it a little easier to understand. Let's get rid of that. So basically it comes over and one goes here, one goes there, one goes here, one goes there. But now this one goes here and one goes there. So as you're going, you're getting less and less going further and further. It takes a while for them to go there. So let's see. So 1, 2, and the 2 goes down here. Then 3, then 4 goes down here. Then 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh no, 8. See, it takes a lot to get all the way down there. But it's a good system if you want to get it nice and compact and you really don't care like when your machine's going to get done. This is a really great system for if you want like a whole bunch of stuff that you can just set and forget. Onward to number 3. This is my favorite system. This is what I call the hybrid system. Now, what you want to do is you want to make the fastest belt going down the straight exactly like you did for over here with the overflow method. And what it does here is it takes away using the belts that we have. So this belt right here is a Mark 5, so that's going to be 780 pieces per minute. But this is a Mark 1, so only 60 pieces a minute. So even though it's going to evenly distribute all 3, like let's pretend this side doesn't exist. So it's just this side. So that means 1, 2, 1, 2, basically back and forth, dividing up. So it'll divide it evenly. But because the Mark 1 belt can't hold as much as its, its predecessors or its whatever, what's the one that's further? Anyway, because it can't hold as much as that one can, it actually just only holds 60. So you only have 60 coming over here, and then it divides over here, and you have a 30-30. So basically, you just got a 30-30 without having to divide this a whole bunch of different times. So I didn't have to divide this a whole bunch like I did there, and I can go further along with it. This is really great, especially for smelters in the beginning, because they only need 30 pieces per minute for iron and copper. So this is really great. Adversely, you can do this with other belts, like say the Mark II belt instead of the Mark I. Now you have 120 coming over here, and it splits off into 60 and 60. So basically, you know, see what you get. Like say you need like a 40 or something like that. So if you have 120 and then you had 3 of them, you can do 40, 40, and 40. You know, basically this is, I find, the best system. It takes up the least amount of space, but it still gives you that perfect load balance feel. It's a mixture of both of them combined, and it's really great. Onward to the next thing, where we're dividing by prime numbers. Now, dividing by a prime number is bad because the only thing it can divide by is itself. So basically we have this going in here, and this is the full line, and let's say we need 5 different ones to go out of. Well, if you have a merger, and then a splitter, and then a splitter, and then another merger off to the side, you can basically make this, you know, divided by 5. So what happens is it goes in here to the merger, then it goes to the splitter, and gets split into 2 ways, to the merger and this one. Then this one gets split into 3 ways, back into this merger and back into the original set. And it gotta go through a little bit to get the proper ratios, but eventually it gets you into the nice thing. So the way it works is this line over here is 4/5, where this line up here is 1/5. And then of course with this being 4/5, you just have to divide it up into 4, as you can see here. So easy peasy. So basically the way to think about it is going 1. So the first piece is going to go forward, forward, over, over. Second piece is going to go forward, 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 over, over, over. Third piece, forward, 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 come back, forward, over. Like, you know, it's going to loop around, and then out of 6, 5 of them are going to go through the spots, and the 6th one's going to go back into the loop. It's the best way. It's the best way I can explain it. It's kind of difficult to understand, but simple at the same time. But just note that this actually works really good. And I added this little bit over here so you can see, because I know some people just take it off to here and go, oh yeah, this is 4/5. But you know, this is how big it really is. Dividing by 5, very difficult, but not as bad as the other ones. Alright, now let's get into a bit more difficult one. This is dividing everything by 7. As you can see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nice and easy. Now, it's similar to that one over there where you divide by 5, except for it just has an extra splitter at the end. So you got merger, splitter, 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 and then a merger over here. These are all connected in a straight line, easy. The splitter comes back to the beginning, and then these 2 middle splitters are connected to this merger. So this one right here is 6/7, where this one over here is only 1/7. And then I added the bit over here again, where you can actually see the expansion out on that. Because this looks compact, but then you see it actually come over here, and you realize that it's a little bit more difficult than we thought. Yeah. But it's not the most difficult one, as you can see coming up, because now we're going to go to a different one. And this is a different one indeed. This kind of looks a little more complicated than it should, but it's pretty funny. So this is dividing by 11. So here's the input, and we need to divide by 11. So we have a merger, a splitter, and another splitter. And we have 2 mergers over here. Wow! So these are all connected in the middle, and it goes out straight for the 1/11. Then it comes around here, which is good. Then this splitter is here. This splitter is connected here, and this splitter is connected here, and then this merger is connected to this merger. So basically, this one has 2 inputs going into it, 1 output, and this has basically 2 inputs and 1 output. And this right here is 10/11. Now, here's the reason why we have all this conundrum past that. Because now we have to divide by 10. And the best way we can do that is split it off and do 2 5s. But there's a better way. If you divide by 5, like we did over there, the nice little divide by 5, we can just do it over here. Merger, splitter, splitter, merger. You know, have this one connected over here. These 2 are connected to this merger. And then this one coming over here should be 1/5, which we have to divide by 2 to basically get the tenths that we need. Then this one comes over here, and this is supposed to be 4/5, divided up into 8 different ones. So splitter, 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 kind of little, you know, manifold thing going over here. And then we have it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 1/11th. Now, there is a 13 splitter one, but it's gonna be completely useless, I gotta say, because I don't think anybody is gonna need to be splitting into 13. But if you do, I mean, the only other difference is we're gonna add another splitter going forward, and it's gonna be similar to how we did that. But anyway, next up we have what is known as an organizer. Now, let's say you have 120 coming here, 240 coming here, and 176 coming here, and you want perfectly even amounts at the end. So the thought process behind this is you take a splitter and you put it on each end, and you just basically connect it to a merger on each end. But each one has to be connected by 3. So this splitter has to divide by 3 into 1, 2, 3 mergers over here. And this one has to be divided into 1, 2, 3 mergers over here. And this one has to be divided into 1, 2, 3 mergers over here. So the whole point is everything is divided equally. Everything divided by 3 added up equals the same number overall. And all 3 of them will be the same. Now the funny part is it does not have to be divided by 3. It can also be divided by 2. So like, let's say I got, 2 of these lovely splitters over here, and then I'll get like 2 lovely mergers over here. And let's say I have 2 lines and I want them to be even out. Now, let's say they're too full, like maybe they're 600 each. Oh no, wait, maybe it's 1200 each. Well, I don't have a belt that can hold 1200 each, which is bad. So I can't combine them together and split them out because that'll be a choke point kind of thing. So basically what I need to do is I need to connect these both going forward, and then basically connect them going here. And you can do this where it doesn't clip, but I don't really care at this point. It's just to show off how you do it. And basically now it splits this off into 2 and then connects into 2. And then splits off into 2, connects into 2, and basically does the same thing that you want. Really cool, really easy. If you want to go to like 4s and stuff like that, it's gonna be a little annoying. You might have to do like parts of it together and all that kind of stuff, but otherwise not too bad. Next up, I wanted to show what load balancing looks like in a real life situation. Now I'm going to be using the lovely one I had over here of the hybrid system because it just works out the best, but I'm also going to be using the manifold system as well. Not really going to stick with the overflow just because it just doesn't work out that well. So what we got going over here is we got a nice little split right here, and then a split right here, and then it goes perfectly. Now I like doing this for anything with a single input because yes, the load balancing for that one over there, the manifold system, it does take up a lot of space. But if you have this lovely thing right here, the foundation frame, and then you shove like a glass foundation or regular 1-inch foundation on top of it, you can throw these little other ones on the side, or you can throw the regular one on the side, whatever. You can basically put this thing up to the edge. It's like the perfect amount of space for the constructor or, the smelter or whatever. And basically it all goes over the side. Everything is tucked in underneath, and you can have an in and an out. Do I have the out on the other side? Yeah, I have the out on the other side. And you can have the out going down this way as well. The nice part about this is you have everything coming in through the center, getting combined together with mergers. So basically, if you have an even number, you can do something like this if there's enough room. If not, you can use the wonderful other system that I showed you of the hybrid system, where you have like a splitter and then another splitter, because there's a decent amount of room under here. But there are other things you can do, like let's say you have 2 inputs. Now you can do this, I don't recommend it, but I wanted to show it off just in case. Let's say you have 2 things like a foundry, or you have a lovely assembler and you want to have the 2 things. You can basically put them on different levels and assemble them out and everything like that. It's not bad, but it does take up more space than you need, because if we go over here, there is another way of doing it. See, what you can do is you can put these splitters over here in the middle, going in the center and splitting off in each one, and then basically the output comes down underneath and gets combined in together. Oh, I forgot to do that. Oh geez, I'm such a mess. Now, the fun thing I did about this is I put this on top of 3 splitters, and then I put one of these conveyor lifts over here. Now, the best part about the conveyor lift is when you put it up as low as possible, it goes up to the 3rd one, so that's why this is on the 3rd one over here. But this would be the same as using the wonderful hybrid system, because like let's say I had belt mark 1 over here and over here, and let's say I only want 60 pieces a second, and then have the rest of it go over here. You know, easy peasy. Not too bad. But this is how this is done. Not too bad. It's pretty simple, and then you can just have the stuff going off the side like this. And then, of course, you just connect that to here, and everything basically is coming into the center. Nailed it! And then we have everything coming out on the bottom instead of the top. But it's good, it's compact, and the nice thing about this is about the same height as the rest of this, so you don't have to worry about, you know, taking up too much space, where that's going to take at least an extra foundation worth of space, and maybe you want to make it as compact as possible. On to the next one, which I freaking love. I did this in my build for Project Sun. I needed to put a bunch of these lovely manufacturers together. So what I did was I created this nice little like, what do you want to call it? Like octopus kind of thing going here. So what you got to do is you got to basically put a manufacturer and another manufacturer next to each other, but you want space in between. So basically, if the manufacturers are next to each other, it would be 2 over. So you have to be 2 away. So, you know, right up against the edge, and then go 1, and then 2, and then get it out of there. And then that'll give you enough space. All you got to do is put a splitter right here and basically stack 4 of them on top of each other, and you can basically have it split out like that perfectly. So like this one right here is splitting into 4 evenly. So let's say I have, I don't know, 20 of these things that I have to do. Well, I can have a 5 splitter that I can have over there, and then just connect it to this one, and that one will take care of these 4 over here. Easy peasy, no problem. And then, of course, you can do the same thing that we did for, like, say, that one or the other one, where we have the stuff going underneath, but for right now, I just kind of, like, merge them together going over here. But other way, this is the most compact thing I could think of for manufacturers, and it looks pretty good. You know, it's nice and streamlined and everything. I like it. I think it comes out good. Now, in terms of pipes, pipes are very different and very difficult. See, the pipe goes over here and then splits it and then splits it evenly, and then these split it evenly, but pipes can be like brought back around. So they're kind of weird if on the way you think of them, because they could flow in different directions and all that kind of stuff and merge together, and they get really annoying after a while. Most people use the overflow method when it comes to pipes just because they don't really want to deal with it, and trust me, I understand completely. But when you're trying to get some water for some stuff and you're wondering why your, massive coal generator thing is failing, it might be because the water's not getting out there evenly and all that kind of stuff. And I even made this thing over here, dividing by 5, similar to the way we had the one over there. So it goes through, and it goes through. Now the only problem is this will split over here, and then it won't come back. Like, what you would have to do to make this work 100% would be putting a pump over here like that. And that makes sure that this goes back around. But it looks bulky and annoying, but it works. And then it'll divide it by 5 evenly. Now, I'm going to tell you right now, pipes are not as worrisome. Just make sure that you don't have long distances. Unless you have like, Unless you have like redundancies over there. Like, let's say you have, I don't know, let's put like 5 of them in a row. But when you have all these 5 in a row and they're going to their they're wonderful little different things and all that kind of stuff, really annoying and all that. And then we'll have them go right here, easy peasy. Now, some would think that the best place to put the pipe, is going to be the middle. And sure, yeah, if you have the pipe coming in the middle, half's going to go that way and half's going to go that way, and then it's going to try and divide as best as possible. But, it's not going to work out. Most people usually get it from one side, so they'll have the pipe coming here. But now, like 100% is coming in here, and then 50%, now 50%. It's basically going to be the overflow all over. I mean, you could do something like you could bring this over here, and now you have 30, 30, and 30, you know, and then this one divides, you got 15 and 15. This one basically 15 and 15, you know, it's just annoying altogether. So, you know, figure it out, do what you think is right, but anyway. Now, onto this in a practical manner of how to use these things. I wanted to show everybody the cool trick on getting these things to look perfectly for their machine. So like, let's say that you want all these lovely refineries next to each other as compact as possible. So you got your nice little splitter here to put that stuff in, but now you got to do the pipes. So what you do is you come over here, you put your pipe all the way across, nice and perfect. Then you come over here and you line it up. There we go. And you try and line it up as good as possible. I try to line up the bolts as best way, but you know, it all depends on if you can eyeball it just right. And then you take the pipe and you connect it, and it should look good. Actually, that one did look good. Yay! So as close as possible, try and get that center bolt lined up with the center bolt. I don't think I did that one quite as good as the first one. Center bolt, center bolt. There we go. And there we go. Now, if you want to, you can get rid of these edges like that. And then it looks perfectly right there. Now, if you want to connect it, you can connect the top over here to whatever you want, and then it'll be nice and even. Let's say I have it over here. Da, 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 da. Now I can have the two things going in and basically getting distributed evenly for those three. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's it for load balancing. As you can see here, let's just take all this and throw it out. I'm sure that'll be useful. Basically, load balancing at its finest. You know, it works out really good. Once your machines get pretty much overfilled, then it kind of doesn't really matter. But load balancing is pretty interesting and pretty good. You can basically make all these wonderful machines run extra smooth, you know, as long as you understand how everything is. Now, this is one of my other starter bases where I showed you all the different ways that I have all this set up. But once you know basically how to do all this stuff, it's pretty easy. Like, look at this. This is a pure 780 line coming all the way in, perfectly load balanced, perfectly nice, legit, everything looking good, nice compact with no overages at all. And it comes out to be 26 smelters. Now, 26 smelters, if you divide that by 2, that would be 13. And trying to, you know, divide this up into 13 would be a pain in the butt, to say the least. So having something like this, like the hybrid method like that, works out really well because I only need, you know, 30 per minute for that. And it's not too bad. And if you're ever wondering how many pieces you're going to need per minute, you can look at any machine, put in the recipe. It'll tell you how many pieces per minute that you need. Not to mention, don't forget that one of the cool things you can do is, if you don't feel like you can handle it, like there's no good number to divide by, if you want to use the hybrid method and divide by stuff, you can actually lower the clock speed to something useful. Like, look at this. This needs 45 per minute. Well, what if I was to make, and by the way, you can actually click this and change the number yourself. If I was to make 10, I would only need 30 per minute instead of that nice little 45. Sure, I'll need more machinery, but it works out a lot better. And sometimes you just got to do stuff like that. It all depends on you. But anyway, guys, that is going to be it for today's video. I hope this helped. If it did, don't forget me to give a like. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe so you can see more stuff in the future, because we're going to go big with this kind of stuff. And, you know, I want to help you guys out because we're a team around here. So if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comment section or the Discord. I'm always in there scuttling about something. But anyway, guys, you have a lovely day. I'll see you in the next video. But otherwise, bye.